So, somehow I thought writing a blog was going to be easy. It's just like you write down some stuff, boom, you click, it goes online, someone reads it, someone doesn't read it, doesn't really matter. You just kind of go on with life. Man, though. I always thought writing a blog would be like so easy. You just kind of like write some stuff down, you click upload or whatever, send, save, publish, and then boom, it's there, life goes on, everything's cool. Man, was I wrong. So having a blog has been like this, I wouldn't call it life transforming, but this sort of constant, what is it? So having a blog has been this really weird thing because suddenly it connects you to this thing called the internet, where there are these human beings out there, and these human beings do things like read and they comment and they, and then once that happens, then you start asking yourself, who are these people and what do they want? And that all becomes kind of confusing because in the academic world, we write things, we publish them, those publications go in journals that only a few people read, and we know what's going on. We know that our friends read it, we know that a few people read it, and we've got control over all of that. But the internet, what the heck is happening out there? So the more I've thought about this, the more I've realized that this really is the key to everything. For the past couple months, I've been reading and listening to podcasts about user experience design, UX. If you're a young person today, UX is like one of the hottest things you can get into. It's a profession that's hip. It's in the world of kind of design and creativity. It doesn't really require much training, or you can get the training kind of quickly. There's tons of YouTube videos on how to transition into UX. And it's something that has expanded or exploded really over the past several years. What is it? Basically, this is the deal. And for me now, I think this is the most important thing about life in the current age. In the past 10 years, thanks to things like Google Analytics and all kinds of other things, we suddenly have lots and lots of data. Everyone has data about something now. And for the first time in history, everyone from a local bookseller to whatever multinational company to a little mom and pop store down the street, everyone can get data about what is happening with their business or their service or anything that they do. And that has led to the next step, which is to really try to figure out what that data shows us and what is happening. Because what everyone has realized is that numbers only tell you some things. You then have to dig a lot deeper through qualitative research to find out what those numbers are actually pointing to and why things are happening that way. And so this is where user experience design has really exploded. If you went back 20 years, there was kind of user experience design, but it was more at the level of, okay, if I create this web page, should I put a green button on it or a red button on it? Which one will most people click? And they do research, most people click, I don't know, the green one, and so they put the green one on there. Green means go. Now though that there's all this data, and now that human beings are so interconnected with technology, it now requires really an army of emerging experts to try to figure out what all of this means. And that's why something like UX design has exploded. And as it has exploded, more and more people are turning to the stuff that for a long time has been in the world of the social sciences and the humanities. The issue, though, however, is that they're not actually going to social science departments or humanities departments or to academic writings by sociologists or psychologists or anthropologists or historians. They're going to blogs, going to sites like Medium and trying to get as much information as they can because their time is limited. They might have a project that they got to get done in 2 months. They can't invest a year to figuring out the academic scholarship on this topic. They need to get the gist fast to get in there and get the job done. And as I said, this summer I've been reading a lot about this, been listening to podcasts. There's a great one called Mixed Methods that's looking at qualitative and quantitative approaches to user experience design. And the more and more I look at this stuff, the more I realize, first, wait a second, I don't do this with my blog. I mean, I know how many people read it or access it, but I really don't know who are these people? What do they want? What can I do to address some of their interest? Shouldn't I actually be interested in this? These are things, that I haven't really thought about. I mean, I've thought about it, but I haven't really acted on it. And then as I see all this stuff, I start realizing, wait a second, this is totally something that I should be doing. I shouldn't just see this data and go, cool. I should be looking at it and go, what does that mean? And how do you go deeper into it? And the more I think about that and what I'm not doing, the more I think of it more broadly to like the academic world that I'm in, where I feel like we definitely don't do that. Who is actually the audience for the type of knowledge that we produce? I mean, we have the data that we know that small numbers of people read our articles. Are there more people out there who might be interested in this? If so, what is it that they're interested in? What can we do to reach that larger audience? These are all things, that are... This thing just stopped? What just happened there? This thing's making noises. These are all things that I think are really important but that we're not addressing. So a while back I did this kind of flash blog where I kind of, spilled out all these ideas I had about the need for academics to create content online, to put stuff out there for a broader audience to access, to try to show the world, one, hey, we're here, there's stuff that we do, but also, and to try to show the world, hey, we're here, look at this stuff that we do. But as I've read this stuff on UX design, I also see, wait a second, there are people out there who actually really want to know what it is that we know. Well, they might not want to know what I know, but they want to know what some people know. And so the more of us who get that stuff out there, the better. But then, as I've learned more about things like user experience design, I've realized, wait a second, just putting content out there is not enough. You've got to go further, and you have to figure out what the data you get about that content tells you. Who's reading this stuff? Why are they reading it? What do they want? What is out there? What can we do? It's a lot of fascinating, interesting stuff, and it's a lot of stuff I think about, and then you end up not writing blog posts because you're going like, who are my readers? What do they want? What am I doing? How do I figure this stuff out? Oh my God.